Angela Sullivan, a self-taught artist. My art can be seen at asullivanart.com or angelasacrylics.blogspot.com. I hope you'll go and sign up for my newsletter. It's full of useful information. Today I'll do a painting from start to finish to show you how I apply thick, rich color. Hope you have a good day. Happy painting. Okay, today we're going to be painting a lemon. We're going to go in just like I did before, and I pretty much do it every time if I'm going to draw it out before I start. We're going to draw, we'll turn it this way. Maybe not. Maybe we'll do it this way. I always get these upside down to paint on for some reason, so if you think of it, check that before you start if you've got a piece of canvas that has any kind of advertisement on it. We're going to start out by drawing a lemon. Kinda. We're going to put two. We're going to put let's come down right there. We're going to put a lemon wedge right there also. Alright, there we go. I'm just going to tell you a few things as I go. If you are an artist and you're not familiar with what is complementary, that is something you must learn. That should be so second nature that you don't even have to think about it, because if you try to make, say you're making a red something and you're trying to make a shadow side, a shadow area that's dark, you can't just, if you try to do that by just making a darker red, you can't do it. You need to add that complementary color in order to come up with a believable dark area in the apple or orange or lemon or whatever it is that you were wanting to paint. We're going to put shadow on this side. Trying to think. Yeah. Our light source we're going to put coming from that way. Your light source needs to always come from the same direction. I will put a hint of darks just to give us a little definition, but still your main light source should be able to be, you should be able to tell where that is. Our shadow is going to be down here. And this is just roughing it in. Alright. When we go to do a lemon, of course we're going to have primarily yellow. So, the complementary of yellow, and I know that if you have painted very much, you probably know this, but I'm going over it so that whoever watches this will be able to get some benefit out of it. The complementary of yellow is purple or violet. So if you take, I always use cad yellow light. I use cad red light. This is my basic palette. I use ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson, burnt umber, and sometimes Indian yellow. I'm going to take this lemon, and I have mixed some ultramarine blue and alizarin together to make a purple looking violet color, and it can lean toward either way, but we want it for this reason, and this painting we wanted to use it for our lemon. We're going to come in here, and I have added to that lemon yellow some of that violet, and it has toned it down to a nice darker yellow, which is a shadowed yellow is what I'm going to call it. I'm going to put a little more violet with it, and we'll see it, but then we'll go back in and make it yellower as we go, or more yellow. Alright, that is my shadowed sides. I don't know why I usually paint my darks in. That's just how I like to do it. We're putting pretty much all of that in shadow. But we're going to come back in with some lights to give us some definition. I'm going to clean my brush, and I clean it in a pretty muddy, yucky, and then I go back and clean it in clean, thinner, or whatever you're using to clean with. I do recommend Sansador. It's S-A-N-S-O-D-O-R. It is wonderful because it has no odor, or is so low I don't even notice it. I'm going to mix a little tiny bit of cad yellow with just a very touch of cad red light, just to give it a kind of a more reddish tint. We're going to put it kind of straight right here. Those two colors mixed together. We're putting it on the bright side of our lemon right there. Then we're going to come in with that same color. I'm just going to go ahead and come around this edge of this lemon here. I'll leave that kind of to the dark. We will come in with some white, is what I'm going to do right now. And I'm going to establish, I hope, to somewhat establish the rind of my lemon, that white area. And I want that kind of lights. And I always, on my paintings, one of the characteristics of the style that I paint is I leave that paint kind of built up. We're going to come back in with a little bit of cad yellow light and some cad red light, and now I'm going to establish some areas in my lemon. And I leave that paint thick. Don't rub it in. Just make your stroke and leave it. There we go. And you'll see, it'll make sense. Now I'm going to come in with a little more cad yellow, a little bit more cad red. I don't know if you can see this. Cad red light mixed into it. And we are going to start building onto this lemon. There's that. Even into this shadowed area. We want it shadowed, but we want, I want a little bit more color there. So I'm just kind of going to do it that way. And then we're really going to build up some paint on this in a few minutes, but I'm just giving you a general idea of how we're doing it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and establish a shadow underneath right here. Usually I use the same colors for my shadows. Sometimes I'll mix it up, but again, if you will take some, you can use cad red light, you just need a red. You can use, I usually use alizarin. You're going to mix it equally with ultramarine blue, and then add some of cad yellow light into it. If you mix that with your palette knife and come up with a pretty equal mixture, you can make that lean toward yellowish, greenish. You can make it lean toward a reddish, the bluish, or even a violet color. It's up to you. I'm going to mix this right now and add a touch of that zinc white, which is what I use. It's a mixing white. And I want that to be pretty dark. We're going to establish a shadow right here. Right up under. That's going to give us a lot of color. I'm even going to put a little bit right there at the front of that one, because coming off of that first lemon, and we'll blend those edges in a little bit, but we're going to add that. And then I'm going to add a little bit more right at the bottom of that lemon, just to give it that hint of blending. Alright. Now, just because, I know I say that a lot, but, alright, I think that I will add something out of the ordinary. I'm going to take some ultramarine blue, pretty straight, and I think right here, I'm going to add a blueberry. We're just going to put in a circle of that ultramarine blue, kind of mix it out a little bit, just like that. Just because I want a little something different. I think I'm going to leave it single too. I'm going to leave that right there. I'm going to come back in with this same color that I just mixed for that shadow under my thing. I'm going to put a shadow here. We're just coming straight out from that berry. See that? I'm going to clean my brush. I usually keep a paper towel in my hand all the time, and fold it and fold it and fold it, and I wipe my brush on that. I try to not get that. I don't wear gloves, which I should, I'm sure, but I try not to get at least those cadmiums and some of those more toxic paints on my skin. I am very careful about that, but how careful is careful enough, really. Okay, now I'm going to take some, I think it's Magnese blue is what I have, and a touch of white, but just because I want a little lighter blue. I'm fixing to give us a light side of that berry right there, and I'm going to come in and put that reflective light right there, and I'm going to leave that alone for a minute. There. Now, I'm going to put, clean my brush again. Here we go. Now, that first mixture that I told you, we were going to mix the ultramarine, the alizarin, and then just a touch of that cad yellow. I'm mixing up a glob of that. I'm going to put just a little area right at the edge of that pile. I wish I could show you, but my camera doesn't lean too easily without me doing something drastic. I'm going to put a little light area of that, a touch of white at the edge, just to give me a lighter color. And actually what I've come up with is kind of a violet, and I like that because violet is yellow's complementary color, and when I put that next to that lemon, it'll kind of make that lemon pop. Alright, we're going to mix it with the lights. We're going to start in. I'm going to put some more white. And I kind of just sometimes mix that on my brush as I go. It's up to you. You could mix it if you wanted it perfect. But I always like to come back in with that white and just kind of manipulate that color to get the lights of my background and darks that I want. So I'm not too strict on it. I just do it. I put long, bold brush strokes, and I just go pretty much everywhere, randomly. And then at the end, after I get through, I'll go back in, and if I need to change a line that's just leading my eye out or doing something that I don't want it to do, I'll go back in and fix some of that random brush strokes. But that works well for me. Come right up next to that lemon. You can even, if you touch it, it's not going to do anything drastic, but you kind of, in some areas, want that to remain sharp, so you don't really want to go into it too much at this stage. Now, we will go back in and soften those edges again. So, I'm just painting in. I'm going to add some more white, get some of this. That color, see, that's pretty light there, but that's okay, because we're going to fix it in a minute. Even some red you may see pulling up into there, that's alright too. Alright, we're going to go around this little berry. Leave your shadows, just that bold contrast, because right now that's what we want. Just cut in this little blueberry. There we go. Now, come on over with your color. I'm going to add some more white. Even yet. Come right there. I'm being careful to leave that shadowed edge I left under there. And we're coming down into the shadow. And we're getting a little more pink right here onto our table area. And that's okay, but that's just because our shadow has that alizarin in it. Alright. Now, I'm going to just level out a few of these brush strokes. Not many. There we go. Now, because our light is coming from here, we're going to really work on that a lot. I'm almost out of white paint. I'm going to come in here with pure white, and we're going to add in right here. We're just going to add in some strokes to try to get it a little lighter. It would have been better probably if I'd have just left it a little bolder bright, but that's okay. We're going to put a little bit at our berry. Put a little bit there. I even like to put some light right where that light is shining across that fruit and hitting. I like to leave a light, bright area right there too. So we're just going to add some and kind of just touch and leave. See that? And kind of just put some here, touch and leave. There we go. We're establishing a lightness, if that makes sense. I'm going to clean my brush again. Here I'm going to take some cad yellow light and that cad red just a little bit. I want it really toward the yellow side, but I'm going to take some that color paint, and I'm going to come in here and work into this lemon just like that. I want it to be touching that. I'm going to work that right there just into the top. I'm putting a little more cad red light and the cad yellow light. I'm adding white, a lot of white to that. I still want to maintain my color though. And I'm going to come right in here. We're going to rake across, drag down. And then I'm going to come on the peel and do the same thing. Just right there. I'm going to leave that. I want to leave the shadowed edge. I'm going to go ahead and add, whoops, I got purple in that. That won't do. I'm going to add more white and make it lighter even still. A little cad red light, cad yellow light, white. I'm going to grab a glob of that. We're going to come in here and work on this lemon. We're going to put it there, drag, there, drag, there, drag. We're going to leave that. See that? Light, thick, rich paint right there. I'm going to grab a little glob and put one little dab right there. Oops, that's too much. Let's just get rid of that there. Alright. Now, I'm getting what I want. It's working out just like I'm wanting it to. I'm going to take some really white and put in that Magnese blue that I told you about. That's the light on our blueberry. We're going to go ahead and work on that a little bit. This, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's really, maybe if I back up, it's really light. I'm going to put a little dab right there on my blueberry and a little bitty dot right underneath. And we're going to kind of just leave that for a minute. Well, I said I was going to leave it. I can't. I'm going to take my brush and just smooth that out a little bit because I got a little carried away. There we go. Alright. Now, our lemon I'm liking. I'm going to take some plain, just white, right out of the tube. That zinc white or Cremettes or whatever you got. I want to add a white highlight right there. I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to touch it right there and leave it. I'm going to take a glob of white and go right here where that lemon skin would be. And I'm going to go just about probably halfway, because you got shadowed area. I don't want light over here. I want that to remain like it is. I'm going to leave that glob paint right there. There's our blueberry. I'm going to touch just a little tip of bright white on that blueberry. I'm going to put right on that light side and leave it. And I put a little dot right there under the edge. Now we're going to work on that shadow. I'm going to get a lot of white, go back into this same background color mixture to make it lighter. We're just going to kind of glob over that. Soften those edges up. Leave it kind of. There's that. Alright, and we're going right there. Leave that. Actually, what I'm going to do, which I do a lot of times, is go back in and add random color. We're going to go ahead into this shadow right here under that blueberry. Add that out. Do that out. Alright, that Magnese, maybe we'll use ultramarine blue. Mix that in some white, make it kind of light, but you still keep in mind this is a shadow. We're going to come in here with some touches of blue, just because. There you go. I'm going to come in with a few more. I'm just going to drag my brush. I'm going to come in, get some more white, put in with some of that blue. We're getting some blue in that. We're going to come right there. I'm going to go ahead and add some right there. We're just making a crazy random shadow. Soften those edges, but leave that color. There's those edges. Here, let's put a little tiny bit of blue right here at this blueberry shadow, but not too much, because you'll get it to where you look like your blueberry has kind of squashed out or something. Alright, I like that, so I'm leaving it off. Yeah, maybe not that. Remember I said come back in and straighten out any brush strokes you don't like. There you go. Alright, one last thing we're going to do is, again, I told you the last step that I always try to go back. Sometimes I do forget, but I usually try to go back and remember to soften those edges. Because when you soften that edge, for one thing, it takes focus away from that edge, and it pushes that edge to the back. We're going to soften this edge right here. Wipe one stroke with your brush, wipe off on your paper towel. Wipe one stroke with your brush, wipe off. Wipe one stroke with your brush, wipe off. Leave that edge. I like this hard edge here. We're not messing with that. I don't think, yeah, we're going to soften that edge just a little. We're going to soften this top edge. There. We're going to kind of leave that alone. We're going to soften this back edge for sure, because we want our lemon to look like it's, not have so much attention right there. And that's exactly what we want it to do. We want that lemon to kind of just go out into the background there. I think I like the crispness of that berry. I think I'm going to leave that alone. Alright, we're going to come back in one more time with our palette knife with some bright white. And that's still zinc. And I don't know why, but I just want a little touch right there. And then I think we'll add a little touch right there. And that's it. I mean, just a very small touch. I am going to go back into this blueberry right there, because I have an edge that is not quite as like I'd like it. I'm just going to do that and make it a little rounder. Now, oh, here. Let's go in with some of this white. We want to define that white area back. I'll go back in actually and smooth that out some with a palette knife. I want some there. I want some here. Just showing reflection on that table and giving us a little more. I might have did that too close to that blueberry. There we go. We're going to leave that. We're going to just touch that out. We're going to leave some of this bright white like that light is shining across that lemon. I want to add this back. Whoops. Sometimes when you've got that wet paint like that, you just have to kind of rake up and let that be light. And let it kind of stand out. There you go. I like that. I'm leaving it. So I say. There's a little bit more. Alright, now I want to go back in with that dark one more time and add a touch right back into this shadow. Maybe right there. Alright, now I'm going to go in with this paint eraser. I told you it's got a rubber tip that's kind of fine. I use this a lot. I'm going to come around some of this lemon right there. If you're careful, it'll kind of work out good for you. Let's just do that. It kind of smeared. It didn't do as good as I'd hoped, but that's okay. Alright, there's that edge. Now, I'm going to come back in with this on paint eraser, and I'm going to sign my name. We're just going to try to sign it as small as I can. I do paint my name in a lot of times with just a liner brush, but I really like this. I wish I could find a smaller one. There you go. 2 lemons, 1 blueberry. Turned out kind of nice. Thank you for joining me. Again, my website is asullivanart.com. My blog is angelasacrylics.blogspot.com, and I would appreciate it if you would visit that site and become my follower, or even join my newsletter, which is filled with all kinds of information that might be valuable to you. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Catch you next time.